and something was going on, I would try to help. I think if I had like a bat or something,
you try what you can.
It's something I could spook them. But that's why I don't do stuff like that. I'm not even putting myself in an area where there's embarrassment.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
On Kittle, there's no player where there's a bigger disconnect between his real-life football ability and his fantasy football output.
The Fantasy Focus Football Podcast. Check it out on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Mike Greenberg, Greeny.
I don't like the way you say Jaguars.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase. What do you think the line is for Giants-Jaguars?
Jaguars. There's no I in that word. It is the Jaguars.
Look, no one says Jaguars. That's not
Yes, they do.
It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
Bubba, help me. I can't do it, right? I mean, I can't not hear that.
Yeah, I can't. Every time he talks, there's something that he says that's insane.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. SportsCenter All Night continues with Daniel Sallerson.
You're listening to SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. It's time for the Progressive NBA Snapshot. Let's start in Houston, where Ja Morant took his game to another planet against the Rockets.
Morant crossing the timeline, picked up by Porter. Morant around an Adams screen. Tries to lean into Porter at the foul line, running right hand. Floater is good. He's got 49, 125, 118. A new franchise record for points against the Rockets tonight by a Grizzlies player.
That's Eric Hasseltine from 92.9 ESPN Memphis. 49 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for Ja Morant. His 8th career 40-point game, 4 times more than any other player in Grizzlies history. Grizzlies beat the Rockets by 6, 128-122. In Charlotte, the NBA is buzzing about Zion Williamson.
Ingram around Zion. Right corner, guarded by McDaniels. Feed in the post to Z. Avoids contact and lays it in. Finger roll style over the front iron.
That's Todd Graffinini, News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Zion finishes with 16 points. Jonas Valanciunas leads the team with 30 points and 17 boards. Pelicans beat the Hornets 124-112, improving to 2-0 on the season. Rudy Gobert faces his former team for the first time this season in Minnesota as the Timberwolves host the Utah Jazz. It took more than 48 minutes to decide this one as D'Angelo Russell gives the crowd some free basketball after this shot.
Here's Gobert, sets the screen. Towns back to his left. D'Angelo Russell takes a run, mid-post, stop and pop jumper off glass. Got it! We're tied at 120! He's done it again!
That was Alan Horton from 830 WCCO. The home crowd would leave disappointed as Lauri Markkanen puts the game away in overtime.
Markkanen now with it with a left-handed dribble, shielding off Austin Rivers, gets in the paint, top fall away from the elbow, and rattles around and drops in. 12.6 seconds left. Jazz 130, Timberwolves 126, down by two possessions.
So Lauri Markkanen with the 2-2, that put the Jazz up 130-126. Jazz would go on to win this one in overtime. The Jazz are 2-0 this season and were 7+ point underdogs in both games. They are the first team to win their first 2 games of the season after being 7+ point underdogs in both games since the 76ers in 23-14. The unfortunate part for them is the Sixers finished 19-63 that season. On the West Coast, it was Anthony Simons with the game winner against the Suns.
Here's Simons with it now on the near side. Shot clock reads 10. Simons creeps up to the wing in front of Bridges. He takes off. He drives. Hook shot. Yes! Anthony Simons, the running hook with 7.2 seconds left. And the Blazers take the lead. 115-111.
That was Rip City Radio. As he mentioned, final score, Blazers 113, Suns 111. Another one on the West Coast. How about Nikola Jokic getting past the Golden State Warriors?
It's an ISO against Draymond. He squares up on him. Has the basketball on his left hip. Puts it on the floor. Fadeaway jumper, baseline. Got it to foul on Draymond Green. Holy cow, what a shot by Nikola Jokic.
That put the Nuggets up 113-105. The Nuggets would bounce back after a tough loss to the Utah Jazz on opening night. They defeat the defending champion Golden State Warriors 128-123. The call from Jason Kosmicki of Altitude Radio Network. Another close one, this time in our nation's capital. Bradley Beal and the Wizards get by the Bulls.
Right in the center circle. High game. Beal cuts to his right. Beal, stop, start. 1 second. Leans in. Banks, scores! Beal's right in the lane. Banks and scores with 7.4 seconds left. Makes it 102-100. He flexes, and the Wizards lead.
Wizards win 102-100. That was Dave Johnson on the call for the team, 980. As for the Brooklyn Nets, they were looking to bounce back after an opening night loss to the Pelicans on Wednesday night. Kevin Durant comes through with the go-ahead bucket in the fourth.
O'Neal tracks it down. Durant comes to the ball. 8 to shoot. Durant. Bullseye! Big time three!
That was the Yes Network as Brooklyn gets by the Toronto Raptors 109-95. Tonight was the 19th time that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have scored 25-plus points in the same game, including the playoffs. The Nets are now 11-8 in those games. They surprisingly went 0-3 in those games last season. In Atlanta, the Hawks finally woke up in the fourth quarter against Orlando.
So now it's going to be put in play by DeJounte Murray. He gets it in the corner. Trey lets it fly, and he hits it right at the buzzer. Trae Young with a three-pointer, and the Hawks lead 102-92.
That's Steve Pullman from 92.9 The Game. Atlanta outscores Orlando 28-17 in the fourth, beating the Magic 108-98. As far as some other scores around the NBA, the Spurs improved to 1-1 after defeating the Indiana Pacers 137-134. Pacers still winless early on in this season. Devin Vassell with 23 points for San Antonio. Tyrese Halliburton 27 points, 12 assists in the loss for Indiana. As for the Celtics, they get their second win of the season, defeating the Miami Heat 111-104. Heat now 0-2, both of those games at home. Jaylen Brown, 28 points for Boston. Tyler Hero, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists for Miami. In New York, the Knicks even up their regular season record at 1-1 after defeating the Detroit Pistons 130-106. Sadiq Bey, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal for Detroit. Isaiah Quickly with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for the New York Knicks. Those are some of your scores from around the NBA. Progressive Insurance gives you protection on the phone, online, or on the app 24/7 because things happen 24/7. Quote at Progressive.com. Half-hour headlines and more NLCS reaction is yours next on SportsCenter All Night.